And welcome into another episode of Beyond the Forecast. Meteorologist Rob Lindenmuth here, joined by my colleague Kevin Appleby.
Hello.
It seems like it's been a while since we've done this, but I don't think it's been as long as
I don't think it's been any
I think it's
longer.
only been a week. I know.
You know what? I'll give you this, Rob. We were 8 days between recording instead of the normal 7.
Well, it's just, I don't know. The weekend was very busy.
Yeah.
So the weekend kind of went by quick. But you know how it is when things are really busy. It's like, all right, you're rushing to get it all done. It all gets done. And then you're like, wow, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I feel this past weekend was. And then the temperatures, fantastic for the weekend.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, though,
A little much.
We'll talk a little about that. I know Kevin helped me this week. He kind of produced everything. So we're going to be kind of seeing how he did.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge
Everybody
at the end of the show.
be very judgmental. If the show seems off, it's my fault. Blame Kevin. Yeah, okay.
All right. So let's get into it. So obviously, Kevin, this past weekend was a celebration of life for Lisa Caporizzo. We got some numbers on that. Not really going to share it all because I don't have it direct access to it, but I do know there were over 700 people there.
Jeez.
So it was...
It looked like it.
it was certainly a very, very big success. And obviously, Steve didn't really want it to be a fundraiser necessarily. He wanted it to be a celebration, but also fun. It was one of those things.
It turned into both.
Yes.
In a good way.
But, the tailgate party, that is a fundraiser. This was celebration first, fundraiser second type of a thing. We're going to talk about the summery air mass. We tied records, broke records. I think we did a little bit of both.
We did a little bit of both.
Okay.
We'll
talk about it. Memorial Day, that's coming up real quick. That's this weekend. It's actually the earliest it can be this year. So
That's right.
It is a very early Memorial Day.
It's like not the last weekend of May.
Everybody's thinking that this is not Memorial Day weekend. It is kind of weird. And more. I don't know what and more means because I didn't put it together. So we'll see what Kevin has for us for the and more stuff.
I'll be honest with you. Those are the two big topics for this week, right in the middle. We have a lot. I think and more can apply to those two topics.
Or when we go on a tangent.
Listen,
we do that
already
a lot.
we have the opportunity to throw some tomatoes at me, okay? Producer Kevin this week.
Yep. Listen, I produced 2 shows, so... All right, so this is... if you weren't there at the Celebration of Life, this band...
I see Artie in the background.
Which band was this? This was the first one, but...
I'm not sure, because I wasn't really out there super often.
I don't want to say it wrong. Let me go to the Facebook page really quick because I don't want to say it wrong.
I want to give a shout out to Art in the blue shirt.
He's the one that was doing all the calling, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that man has like 20 jobs. I've seen him everywhere. He let me into the Valley Cats ballpark one morning.
Really? Okay, okay. I didn't realize. Yes, I think him and Steve are very good friends.
That, and I think he was part of our interviews. We were interviewing a fire department one morning, and I was like, that's Art. That guy does everything. So shout out Art.
All right, he almost there. Hang on, because I know I posted the flyer, and I just want to make sure that I get this band correct. So the first band was they were from Skeeter Creek, Dave and Renee. So that's the two folks that you see there. They had another engagement that they had to go to.
Yeah.
So the other half of the band was there, and then they ended up coming. They said that they wanted to be there for Lisa. So. Not sure if you have the other band on here, Kevin, but the other band was Big Sky Country. They were also great. Okay.
I just have 3 pictures.
Okay.
There's Cap. I mean, his speech was incredible.
It was, and this was before his speech.
We were clouding up by his speech. It was a little dimmer, but
there's your weather team +1.
Lydia filling in for Allison.
Lydia was able to get on in for this picture, and the 4 of us aren't able to get together all the time.
It's true.
Matt is very much morning, so, I rarely see him. Ship's passing in the night.
Yeah.
You see him more often than anybody.
I see everybody.
Oh, yeah, you do, because it's the way your shift is. But my shift too, like I have a better chance to run into everybody.
Yes.
So, but when we're together, it's like, all right, let's snap a picture quick.
Yeah,
because
that's how
it doesn't happen.
It's funny because we're going to get together tomorrow. But real quick, Allison's not in here.
Yep.
Newest meteorologist.
Officially a meteorologist now.
So she graduated from UAlbany with meteorology.
That's why she wasn't here.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And why she wasn't working this weekend.
Oh yeah, I know.
But congratulations to her. That's a huge accomplishment. Yeah. It really honestly is. Meteorology is not an easy program to get through, and I'm not just saying that. My school that I went to, they were saying that was probably one of the most difficult curriculums, basically, that you had to go through. So
it's tough.
It is very tough. It is very tough. I think I started with a class of like 10. We got down to like a class of 4 by the end of it. Wow. Because people just...
I think our first meteo class was probably like 70 or 80, and I mean, it probably got down to like 40.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of... And I mean, within the first like year, it was probably like 20 less.
I think because people get into it and then they realize, this is too difficult.
What do you mean Calculus 3? I almost... that class.
All right, I'll let you talk about this picture because I don't know these people. I mean, I do, but...
So that's my dad, that handsome stud on the left, my stepmom Yami on the right. They came up to support Steve, really. I mean, they wanted to see me, but this is really for Steve. And they hadn't seen Steve. You know, they're from northern New Jersey. They hadn't seen Steve since before I was even on air at News 10.
That's what I thought.
Like, I think I had just signed a contract. And
I don't know, because I remember you coming, and you brought your suit because you wanted a picture.
Yeah, that was after I signed.
Oh, okay.
Either way, because the first time I drove alone.
Okay.
But yeah, so they hadn't met Steve, or you for that matter, Rob, since before I was even on air. So like July of 23, so nearly 3 years. But they know how much Cap means to me. They know how much I talk about what Cap and Lisa, for that matter, have done for me. And Rob, you understand that completely.
Yep.
So obviously, when they heard the news back in beginning of this year, just devastating. First thing when they saw that there was a celebration happening, they put it on their calendar. So I just want to give them a shout out because they came up here for it, and super cool to see them. And
I was gonna say you got time with them too,
and like they got to meet the work family.
Yep.
You know, we see each other on TV. That's one thing. They don't really know that
everybody else.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad they were able to come up. Now I see the baldness, though. Why you would always say as far as my bald head, but anyways.
You see, that's what I mean. He's been making jokes about it my entire life. So like, I just let it slip one night, like it was nothing, because that's how I grew up.
That's funny. Throwback to another episode.
We brought that up last time, I think. Last episode. So yeah, sorry, bald Bob.
So obviously the weather for that was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better day. Nice and sunny.
What was the high? 80?
It was warm. I think we hit 80 that day.
Yeah, it was 80.
And then we were in the mid to upper 80s Sunday.
86.
Okay. This, I guess you should have changed the yesterday because
this was yesterday. Oh,
but this is airing on Thursday. So
yeah, that's what happened.
So this was Tuesday morning's low temperature, correct?
Yes, good call.
71 degrees. We don't talk about these a whole lot because they are a little confusing, but it's the record low temperature. Yeah. So our normal low is 49. Previously, 1911, the warmest it had ever been that night was 65.
Yeah, think of it this way. Like in every year, so keep in mind 150 plus years on record at Albany. In every year prior to this year, Albany's temperature has dropped at least to 65. Usually much lower, usually around 49 or in the 30s even. I think the record low for that night was in the 20s.
But 71, I mean, that's...
soupy, that's summery. You get that in the middle of
summer. When I woke up Tuesday morning, when I woke up Wednesday morning, both days I was like, wow, it's steamy.
That front's coming through as we speak, Rob.
All right, so we had is there another?
Yeah, Glens Falls did it too. Not quite destroying the record like what we had in Albany, but it still beat it by one.
And it was the same year. Okay.
Yeah, so clearly there was a similar-ish setup that year. But so they only beat it by one, but they didn't drop below 63. So new record up at Glens Falls.
Amazing.
For the warmest night. You can think of it that way, too.
Yeah.
Technically,
the warmest night.
The low can happen on
It's a 24-hour period, yeah. So if it was 71 Tuesday morning, but it fell to 68 before midnight Tuesday night, 68 would have been the temperature that it goes down as. So think of it like that. It's midnight to midnight, basically.
A good example of that's going to be today, because Wednesday when we're recording this, because in the morning it was 68.
Yep.
But
should fall below that before midnight.
I mean, it might be that. It might be there by the time Alyssa's doing the forecast later.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Is there another?
In regards to, I think we could do one more.
Okay.
At least touch on the 90-degree temperatures because we do have quite a bit about 90s.
Obviously, we knew it was going to be hot the last couple of days, and yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Monday, we hit 92 in Albany. That fell short of the record. Was that 94?
Record was 94,
okay.
And I'm going to be. I know Glens Falls didn't tie or break a record. I didn't really look at Bennington and Pittsfield.
You were more focused on Tuesday, which is fine.
To be fair, I mean, not fair to Bennington and Pittsfield, to be honest with you, but they just don't have nearly as long a period of record, especially Bennington. So, I mean, Bennington, it'll be like a record high by 10
Well, and you look at, I was going to say, you look at the years there where the records were 2019, 2021.
Yeah.
So, and it was 83. Like, that's a low-hanging fruit for a record, really. Regardless of where you are, that's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, but Tuesday in particular was a lower hanging fruit than surrounding days.
I agree.
Which is why we were, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was doing the forecast this weekend. I was convinced Tuesday was going to be warmer. We got a little
and it should have.
We got a little downpour at like 2 o'clock. We clouded up an hour beforehand, so the temperature just kind of stopped climbing. And, I mean, we were so, and again, it didn't happen. We always ran the risk of getting that downpour. Before 11 a.m., it was already 87 degrees.
Ridiculous.
So we were.
We don't get that even in the middle of summer sometimes.
Oh no, that happens. So I was thinking like
a handful of times.
Has this ever happened in May? Like I have no idea how to prove that, but I guarantee you we can count on one hand in the past 150 years how many times it's been 87 by 11 a.m.
in May.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Because in June and July and August, I wouldn't be that.
I mean, that does happen.
We have overnight lows that are near 80 sometimes, so it's not that crazy for June, July. But for May, I mean, that's very impressive. And if we got to 95, which was a possibility if we avoided storms completely, which we didn't. I know we didn't. But just to put it in perspective how crazy this heat was, only one other day in May has a record high above 94.
Yep.
There's one day. So if we hit 95, it would have been the second highest all-time temp in Albany. So it didn't happen, like I mentioned, but the air mass for this time of year was incredible.
Yes.
Incredibly out of place. As
we told everybody, it was very short-lived. It's one of those things where it's, it comes and it goes, and that's kind of what you get this time of year still. Obviously, a lot of people don't want 90s this time of year.
Yeah.
So...
Rob,
right.
I'm thinking we still have some topics regarding 90-degree temperatures, but it doesn't necessarily relate to the records. So I think this is a good place to take our first break.
It's funny because I was just going to toss the break. So with that, Kevin, go ahead and toss the break.
Oh my gosh, I never get to do this. We're going to talk much more about 90-degree temperatures, looking ahead towards Memorial Day. I know you've heard maybe some not so great things about the forecast. I'm going to show you a horrible Memorial Day weekend.
So he says.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, you can all be the judge. But that's all coming your way after this short break, so don't go away.
Stay with us. And welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. Kevin, we just talked about 90-degree temperatures, records, things like that. This is actually an interesting graphic I just brought up as far as you got to love spring.
Oh, yes.
So
I've been showing this one a lot on air.
I'm going to put this up full screen because 37 degrees was last Tuesday. So that was the
9 days ago.
12th of the month. That was in the morning, patchy frost. Of course, I think... was that the day it was in the 20s in outlying areas?
Oh,
mid to upper 20s probably.
Yeah.
So that was last Tuesday. And then high temperatures a week later, 91 degrees and record tying warmth. So springtime, especially as we get closer to summertime, you can have some of these wild temperature swings.
This one was a bit crazy.
Well, yes. Yeah, I mean it's separated by a week. At least it wasn't, 37 and then 2 days later we were 91 because that could probably happen too.
Impossible, Yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't even look at some of the low temps from the days leading up. They were in the 40s.
I know.
Yeah, no, Saturday. I remember I was on air Saturday morning. Temperatures were
Saturday morning I think was cool.
43.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
all right. Let's tweak the criteria. Within 3 days, we go from 43 to 91.
There you go.
Or technically 92 within 2 days.
From Monday. Yeah, from Monday.
Gotta love it. Like I titled the graphic, you gotta love it.
So I threw this together last week because when I started looking at the forecast, it was like
90.
we're easily going to hit 90. Like there's no doubt we're definitely going to hit at least 90. Our average first 90-degree day is June 8th. So we came in what? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2.5.
About 3 weeks. Almost 3 weeks exactly.
Okay.
Ahead of schedule.
Oh, I'm thinking from today.
Last year was June 5th, so last year was pretty much on average. We had how many 90-degree days did you say? 13?
18.
18 last year.
13 the year before.
So it was a little bit above average. Obviously, this is not to say that we're going to see an above average 90-degree days this year because you never know. The rest of the summer could be cooler.
We are off to the races, though.
But I will say, this is going to allude to another topic that we'll talk about in another week or two, El Nino. A lot of times with what's happening right now, every year that I've looked at, those summers always end up cooler than average here. Just throwing that out there. Every El Nino is different, as we've said, but we'll have to see. The last time that we hit 90 degrees or better was 91, August 13th, 277 days. That's a long time.
You what? We've had a couple Augusts in a row, maybe 3 Augusts in a row that have... We've just shut down the big time heat. And I remember distinctly, this past August did not have a ton of humidity.
No.
Maybe the beginning of the month?
I think through mid-month, and then the rest of the month was cool.
Like after that?
Yep. I don't think we really had much.
There was zero humidity, but it was not like July was... I mean, I remember putting I kind of started with the 10-day forecast graphic, got rid of the icons, obviously changed some of the coding, and I did 10 days of low temperatures that were all above. I think there was one that was 69.
Yep.
And the rest were 70 plus. Some of them were closer to 80. And, I find crazy stats. We know this. I think it was like the longest run ever on record of 69 or higher for low temperatures. Mm-hmm. So that was July. August was the opposite. But no, I think it's been interesting. The Augusts that I've been here for have not been super duper hot.
No. It's like fall starts early the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And then we don't really get a lot of heat. We get warmth in September and October, but no heat.
The past 2 Septembers have been unbelievable.
Nice.
Very nice.
I remember last year we had the drought.
We had a Rex block.
We had that drought, and then we had like those days of rain.
We had it really was. It got rid of it.
Yes.
The past 2. One might have been August, but definitely last September we had a Rex block, and I think we were debating mostly sunny every 7 day.
And that was for like a 10 to 15 day period.
That was unbelievable.
That was a long stretch.
Do you remember we're like, do we really go mostly sunny every single day?
I know. It's tough.
Let's go broken one day.
So here's our 90-degree count, 2 so far this year. Albany averages,
all right,
like 10 and a half?
So it's like if you take the time period of the past like 30 years, 50, it's 11. If you go all time, it's I did the math. 10.496.
So about 10 and a half. But we're not going to put that we average 10 and a half days. So
yeah, I'd say like technically we should round down to 10 or 11 days. Like that's typical. Of course, you're not going to get that every time.
Some years you get some years you get a lot more. But that's why it's an average.
This is the beginning of the count.
Yes.
So cool stuff.
Come on. Sometimes this clicker it takes forever.
I hate when that happens.
Well, I think because we are a little further from. So the early week heat, this is something I wouldn't have thought of. Consecutive 90-degree days in May.
Sometimes I'm curious when I'm thinking of stuff to talk about.
These little arbitrary facts. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm like, sometimes I look it up and I'm like, oh, that's lame. This one I thought was really cool. 15 times you've had 2 days in a row 90 plus in Albany.
150 years of data. So this is a long standing. This is not something just over the last couple of decades. This is a long time.
Yeah, about once a decade. Mm-hmm. The last time it happened was in 2022, so only 4 years ago. But before that, it had been quite a while. Maybe there might have been a 2017.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it could be once a decade. Maybe you go a decade without it, or maybe you go a decade with 2 or 3,
maybe
or
you go 2 decades without it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something that literally is cycles once a decade. No. It's just if you average it out. But I thought that was interesting. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I looked it up, and I thought that was pretty neat. Like, it's not very common that you get 2 days in a row. And out of those 15, 3 of them were actually streaks of 3. So technically heat waves in the month of May.
And this could have been had that
if
front
the cold front
slowed down a
was
little
6 hours later, which is not what happened, obviously. And we can say what if all we want, of course. Same with the 94-degree temperature that didn't play out. That said, seriously, if the front was a little bit later, we were on our way pretty good today as well. I mean, when we were recording, it was soupy when I was out there this morning.
Well, now we're going to get on to Memorial Day weather.
I can kind of go on.
And obviously the dates change every year.
Yes.
The highest temperature, 94 degrees in 1981. The lowest temperature, I'm assuming it's just the lowest start to the day.
Yes.
Was 1967.
Almost freezing.
The wettest, this was a wet Memorial Day, almost 1.5 inches, 1956. Last year, 71.
So 45, and I highlighted it red.
I was like, I'm not sure.
I left that one highlighted red because I wanted to make a note that, because obviously I tweaked last year's graphic.
Yep.
So last year 45 was the low. We got 0.03 of an inch of rain. But the year before, low temperature for the day was 69.
Okay.
So that was we talked a little bit earlier about the record high minimum temperature. Albany's was 71 when the old record was 65. Well, for that particular Memorial Day, like out of all the Memorial Days, it's never been a warmer start to the day.
So did that go down as a record for that date? Because of the date changes?
I'm not sure, but I remember looking at Memorial Days only.
Okay.
So
for Memorial Day, yes, but for that date, possibly not.
Listen,
you never know.
People are, it's a tremendous day to remember sacrifice all of our heroes. At the same time, it is called the unofficial start of summer.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of folks are very happy. It started off near 70 on Memorial Day.
Well, sometimes it's a little too warm, though.
Sure. You're right. I don't mean to.
So this is what we're looking at for this Memorial Day. Is this, what day is this, Kevin?
I stopped this Saturday at 4 p.m.
Okay.
This is similar to what I showed yesterday, but it has made a little bit of a. Now the GFS was the most optimistic. I think this is we're starting to get some consensus. Obviously, I don't want to get too specific because data is going to change before this even airs.
Exactly.
And I think
it'll continue to change. I think
we'd be doing you a disservice being like, this is exactly what we think as of Wednesday.
Just just be prepared that there will likely be showers around.
Yeah.
Showers probably not. Or is it potentially a rain?
You've
been looking at the data, so that's why I'm asking you.
I'd say Euro and Canadian were definitely leaning wet. I mean, to be fair, so was the GFS.
Yep.
One thing about this, Rob, I'll touch on this briefly. I'm very intrigued by the AI models with this particular setup. I haven't looked at those as much as perhaps I should have. They were painting a vastly different picture from what the regular models were. I have
noticed that with different setups. Yeah. I have noticed that. I don't know as far as comparison-wise if they've done better or if they've done worse.
I just know I got to look at them more, and that the operational American GFS did trend towards the Euro and GFS
Well,
AI.
We got to look at the temperatures, too, on the AI because they sniffed out that warmth this week, too.
They did. Let's go ahead and move on because we still some stuff to do. The past 5 years, temperature-wise, for Memorial Day itself, 63 in 2021, but then 80s, close to 90 in 2022, 85, 23. 2024 was 81, and then slightly cooler, slightly below average for last year.
It'll probably be a cooler this year.
Well, most likely.
Okay.
I don't want to say for sure, though. Depends.
Okay.
Because, the blend box goes above it. But I want to bring you back to Memorial Day weekend 2021 because I know the outlook for this weekend has not been great.
Okay, actually, looking at this, I'm actually thinking, I remember this, because I think we were still going very pessimistic on Monday.
Yeah, and it ended up being okay.
It ended up being okay.
That's how it was in PA, because that's where I was in 2021. I was at State College, and we actually took a trip into the mountains in Pennsylvania near Bradford. There were some flakes. It was miserable. It was so cold.
Looking at this, I do think I remember this. And I like I say, I do think I remember it being...
Yeah, so that is... You imagine, 60s and rain doesn't sound 60s and showers doesn't sound too bad anymore.
Yeah,
right?
40s and rain.
That's kind of what I wanted to say because 2021, honestly, it was just insulting.
So it could be a lot worse, basically.
Yeah. Great. That's the message from Beyond the Forecast today. It could be worse. But yeah, kind of snuck in a good Memorial Day after the weekend that was less than good. So good news there.
That is the end of these graphics, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, we're going to toss it a break because we are running out of time. When we come back, we'll have a couple of final remarks and we'll tease ahead to next week. Something you don't want to miss, I don't think.
I don't think you do.
So stay with us. All right, welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. Before we go, anything fun you're doing this weekend?
Yeah.
What is this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to be off for a week.
That's right.
This weekend.
Oh, this weekend's Memorial Day weekend.
This weekend, I'm at the best man at my brother's wedding. It'll be in Northwest New Jersey. The forecast does not look great. So you know how I said
is it indoors or outdoors?
I think there's part of it that's outside. Like the reception, everything's probably inside because, I told them Memorial Day weekend, you're rolling the dice. And indeed, they rolled the dice. That said, you know how that graphic we showed you where it could be worse? Well, it's probably going to be a steadier rain in PA and New Jersey. And we're in Northwest New Jersey for this wedding. And the forecast is just trending
Couldn't
worse.
look worse.
I'm like, well, it looks so good 8 or 9
Yep.
days out when I started really looking at it. And I was optimistic.
The trends are not your friend in this situation.
No. So, okay, aside from the forecast, because it is a wedding and it will still rock without the weather cooperating. So right after that, a lot of my college friends and I have been going to Florida once a year in the summer. This will be our 3rd year. And this year we all decided right after Memorial Day, and I'm going to join them for the start of the trip. Can't stay the whole trip because then it'd be like a week and a half off, and I can't do that. But
and we'd all have to be working your weekends.
I know how much everybody.
I'm already
likes
doing
this.
one of yours.
I know how much
on that Sunday.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, you'll see me Sunday morning this week, guys. If you're watching,
you won't see me. That's for sure.
I might be a little groggy and sleep deprived, but you'll see me Sunday morning.
You'll be okay, Rob.
We'll get through it.
Now, so Florida until Thursday, and then I'll be back Friday morning with. We'll be doing our last stop in Denon, your town.
Fun stuff. Can't believe it. It's almost gonna be June.
Yeah.
It's almost gonna be June.
Final weekend of May when I come back. Wow.
Next week, I don't think you're gonna want to miss the episode because we do have a very special guest.
Yes.
That will be here. Kevin will not be here, so that's why I asked this special guest to sit in with me. So.
He knows a thing or two.
You'll have to. I was just saying. You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait to see who it is. But I do think we're going to be talking about the anniversary of the Mechanicville tornado because that is coming up at the end of the month. So hopefully you guys will tune in next week for that episode. For now, though, have a safe Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you guys next weekend, and hopefully the temperatures will start to trend a little bit nicer after Memorial Day. Have a great week. See you guys later.